copying one another, that's what I see. And nobody's creating new locking systems except one man, his name is Lee Williams. Sleek and clean designs with top quality in mind.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for joining me as always. My name is Jim, and today I'd like to discuss a very cool prototype with you for a knife that will be available sometime at the end of summertime 2025, looking around the end of July, early August. And this is going to be the Lee Williams Abyss with Kickstop. Now, for those of you that have been subscribed to me for any length of time, you already know that I am a huge fan of Lee Williams and, of course, his Kickstop Mechanism. Having spent over $4,000 to buy a custom many years ago, to the few production knives that he has allowed to use his Kickstop, I've enjoyed them all tremendously. I am personally unaware of any straight-up, full knife design by Lee Williams that's been made as a production collaboration until now. Now, I could be wrong, but as far as I know, this is the very first. Typically, to have any Lee Williams knife, you have to buy a custom Lee Williams. But that's not to say that that's the only way to get a Kickstop. There are a couple of different ways to get a Kickstop. Number one, it could be a full custom knife where Lee is granting the permission to the other custom knife maker to use the Kickstop mechanism. Or, as in the case of the Ramon Chavez 229 Kickstop, it can be in a collaborative effort where Lee Williams authorizes the use of the Kickstop mechanism in that Chavez production knife. But this is, as far as I know, the very first time Lee has designed a knife from the ground up. You're getting a Lee Williams knife as a production knife. And to me, that's pretty darn exciting to have the first of anything, especially something this incredible. I mean, it's really, really, really nice. So the Abyss is going to be available in a few different variations. This is the Fat Carbon Arctic Storm. Now, this is the newest generation, Generation 6 of the Kickstop mechanism. I'm assuming that Lee has just slightly updated and upgraded the mechanism over the years. Obviously not needing to redesign it because it's always worked perfectly. But I think that over time he has probably found little things that he could do to make it a little bit better, a little bit more compact, a little bit more efficient. And it's had some small generational changes. This is the Gen 6. This is the newest. Now, for those that have never had a Kickstop, I do want to talk about it for a second. I don't want to get into the weeds on it. I have done that in the past. You can watch my other videos that have dealt with the Lee Williams Kickstop before. But essentially, the whole idea behind the Kickstop is to have a flipper knife like this that doesn't have an exposed flipper tab when the blade is open. Because a lot of makers won't make a flipper because they don't like the look of a flipper tab hanging down below their handle when the blade is open. They feel it's disruptive to the overall flow of their design. And there are plenty of customers out there that feel the same. I am not one of them. I don't mind a flipper. But what happens is when you flip open this knife by using the flipper tab, the flipper tab hides away inside of the frame here and stops and doesn't continue forward. As an example, it's probably not best to use my Hellraiser design because I've chosen to hide flipper tabs behind the handles in a lot of my designs, but you see that you would have a flipper tab that would be sticking out right here. So instead of doing that, Lee has come up with the most incredible flipper tab ever. Yeah, there's a lot of pieces and parts going on to make that happen, but it is super, super cool. You've got to realize there has not been a lot of innovation with flippers since the flipper first was introduced. Now, most people credit Kit Carson with introducing the flipper to knives. And back in those days, which would have been early to mid 90s, flippers weren't used to actually flip the blade open. What the flipper was intended to do was give an assist. And there's no way to take a kickstop and not get it to open all the way. So I can't properly demonstrate that to you, but you would simply hit the flipper and it would pop the blade out a certain amount, then you would open it the rest of the way using another method, your thumb or a wrist flick or something. So over time, customers got more demanding of what a flipper needed to be, and now flippers completely flip open blades. Now, the way this is being done, it is being manufactured by Riot. So you know the quality, the fit and finish, everything is going to be absolutely top notch without absolutely decimating your bank account. This is an absolutely amazing opportunity for somebody that's into collecting knives to get a true Lee Williams design at a lower price point. You're going to be looking right around $475 for a fat carbon version like this. There will also be the availability of numbered limited edition versions that are higher end, and that's going to be stuff like black Damascus, hand rub satin blades, Zerk bolsters, things like that. So there will be dress models and there will be standard models like this. Now the one full custom kickstop that I owned that I mentioned earlier that I spent over $4,000 on, I think I spent $4,500 or $4,600 on it. That was actually a collaboration that Lee did with Dan Galloway. So it was a Dan Galloway Mongoose, pretty big size knife, and that used Lee's kickstop. And that was my first personal experience in my collection with having a kickstop, and it was super cool. Did I want to spend $4,500 on it? Not really, but that was actually kind of a bargain at the time when I got it on the secondary market. I need you to understand that this brilliant system that you're seeing here is mechanically identical to the multi-$1,000 customs. It is the same execution. It's the same idea. You are not losing anything by going from spending $4,500 to $475 as far as this mechanism goes. And to me, I find that damn incredible. So the way the company breaks down, I want to fully explain this because there's going to be some confusion unless I do. So what you have is this collaborative effort falls under the umbrella of Kickstop Collaborations. That's what it's called, Kickstop Collaborations. And Kickstop Collaborations is collaborations between Lee Williams, using his kickstop, and Dave Stark, the owner of SteelAddiction Custom Knives. Everybody knows Dave. And Dave has been friends with Lee for going back years and years and years and years. And he's friends with pretty much every major maker there is. As a matter of fact, just to give you a little sneak peek into the future and to drive the point home that I was just making, there are already collaborations that have been prototyped and approved. In the future, there will be a Lucas Burnley Quaken, Kurt Merrick Ego, Enrique Pena Mula, and there are more Tashi collaborations coming from the original Krypton. I don't know why I was hiccuping on that word, Krypton. I had a Krypton, absolutely loved it, thought it was super cool, and now they're going to be doing a couple of different inlay versions, and as I understand it, an all-black variant as well. Something tells me that you can also look forward to some full dress versions, maybe with some Damasteel, perhaps. Something a bit fancier. If you're a Tashi fan, then you definitely want to stay tuned for that. So, it's Lee and Dave forming Kickstop Collaborations. And then to manufacture, their partner for that is Riot, to get the quality that they're looking for and hit the price points they're looking for. If these were made by some US OEM, they'd be dealing with a tremendous amount of defective returns and random parts that don't fit and companies that blow timelines like crazy, which means all in all, not a successful endeavor and at a significantly higher price. So unless you want to spend $600 or $700 on one of these, be happy that Dave has a good relationship with Riot. And that's the same basic idea that I had said for the Chavez 229 Kickstop. Sure, we would love for it to be, done in like Chavez's shop, but do you want to spend $800 or $900 or do you want to spend $400? Therein lies the difference. So, what do I think of the knife overall? Let me give you the specs first. I think that's going to be very important to get out of the way. People need to know that. And we're already like 14 minutes into this video, and I haven't given you the specs yet. So here we go. Overall length is a sleek and svelte 7.57 inches. Your blade length is just under 3.5. I measured it at 3.45 inches. The blade stock thickness is about 139 thou thick. And the weight, get this, is only 3.4 ounces. So this is absolutely a perfect EDC knife. I have been carrying this knife a lot over the last 2 weeks, and it's been one of those knives that once it's in your pocket, you completely forget you even have it. It's not obtrusive, it's not thick, it's not long, it's not heavy, it's not taking up any additional room in the pocket. It is super easy to carry. Now, this is winter, so I'm wearing jeans and other type heavy pants, but even if this were summertime and I were wearing lighter, looser shorts, it would still be just as easy. I don't think it'd be flopping around very much at 3.4 ounces. That weighs almost nothing. It is an excellent choice for everyday carry. It's a great size for use. It's still going to be a usable size. It's not so tiny that to make it easy to carry, they made it so tiny that it doesn't do the job. This is going to be just fantastic for everything. And of course, it's always going to be responsive with that kickstop mechanism. What you end up with is an absolutely perfect detent in every knife. You don't have to worry about, oh, is it a weak detent, a medium detent, a detent that's so hard that it feels like it breaks my finger to flip it open. Every one of these, it's a very mechanical feeling. You feel it as it's going through its motion, and it feels different than any other flipper. It's a wonderful experience. If you've never flipped a kickstop, you're going to be in for a big surprise when it arrives. It's really, really nice. Overall, I like the sleek design. It's very slender. It's very easy to carry. And it's got a nice organic flow to the overall shape. It's not basic, plain, rectangular handle. It has a nice shape to it. You've got a nice little dip here for you to hold and be comfortable with. Then It comes to a peak here, and then there's a very gentle slope down to the rear where it's then angled, and that's going to match up with the overall shape of the blade very, very well. Flat along the bottom, and a nice clean sweep up here to throw 2 fingers in very comfortably. You have a really good sized sharpening choil here, so you're not going to have any issues accessing the heel of the blade to sharpen this blade over the years. Love the blade shape. I also really, really like the top swedge on here. A lot of makers these days don't do swedges. I'm not sure why. It's always a personal preference anyway. But I love when somebody takes the time to do that, and I think it looks really handsome on this knife. The 6-shooter pivot I absolutely love. It's a nice flat pivot design with a pivot collar around it. What I might end up doing here is, and I'm not entirely certain, but I might take the pivot collars out and anodize them blue to go with the Arctic Storm Fat Carbon. Which, by the way, this beautiful elongated S-shaped bolster in titanium blends perfectly with the carbon fiber. If you close your eyes and Helen Keller this, you can't even feel where the carbon fiber begins and the titanium ends. It is so perfectly done. Same goes for back here. You don't feel that little notch back there at all. It's just perfectly done. Really, really well-made knife. You have a true bolster lock design here with the extended exposed lock bar. Lockup is solid and perfect. Blade centering, as you would expect, is also perfect. And they have also very gently knocked off the edges of the spine of the blade so it's not razor sharp at that edge. It's a very comfortable knife to hold and a very comfortable knife to use as well. Pocket clip is fantastic. It has just the perfect amount of tension. It's extremely easy to get into the pocket, has great retention once in the pocket, and it's easy to extract. The length of it's perfect. I think it looks nice. I think it complements the overall shape and design of the knife when it's open. And in case you haven't picked up on it, it is a blind screwed pocket clip, so you have no exposed hardware at the clip. It's a nice little touch. You don't see that often in this price range these days. And I'm really, really happy to see that here because it gives you that custom knife touch. That's something that many years ago you would only see on a custom knife. And to get that here at this price range, I'm really, really impressed. You've got a titanium backspacer. Basically, the whole knife is titanium. The hardware, the frame, the pocket clip, the pivots, everything, the flipper tab, all titanium. And you have M390 for the steel. I don't know if that's going to change for production. I'm assuming it's going to stay the same because M390 is very popular. And at $475, I think it is a steal of a deal to get a genuine Lee Williams and with his kickstop and a production knife. Incredible. This is one that everybody should be marking on their calendar. Look for these in August. They're going to be available at a number of different retailers, I can tell you that. I don't know exactly which ones yet because it's too early on. They just started ordering them in the past week or so from Dave. But also, the best source, I would still think, for these is going to be at SteelAddiction Custom Knives. So if you go to SteelAddiction, again, is owned by Dave Stark. Dave is who's partners with Lee on these collaborations. So, of course, they're going to have a good selection of them. So if you're looking for a great way to blow some money at the end of the summer, there you go. That's going to be a fantastic way to do it. I am beside myself with childlike excitement. I think this is fantastic. And it's going to go right back in my pocket. I'll be carrying it again probably the whole rest of the week. It's just one of those knives that you find that you don't want to not be carrying it. It's so compact, it's so easy to carry that you forget you've got it. And then when you have to go to use it, it's the perfect size, nice balance. You've got good leverage on it, nice shape to the handle, so that no matter what you're doing with it, this is the perfect tool. And that's all we ever asked for, right? The perfect tool for the job. Congratulations to Lee Williams and to Dave. These are going to be a stellar hit. I can see it already. And it's nice to see them thinking about bringing Lee's work to the masses for people that are not necessarily collectors, that cannot drop thousands and thousands of dollars on a knife, that never get a chance to win a lottery at Blade Show. This is going to be your ticket right here. Thank you guys for watching as always, and I'll see you on the next video.